about our newly renovated space. We're only halfway through, so we're excited to kind of give you a quick teaser of what's to come for Gucci at Galleria, as well as the Children's Boutique. I'm so excited to have this opportunity to partner with Jacqueline. Jacqueline I met as a client of ours at the North Park location and invited me to one of her events, and I have to say that positive things have happened ever since. So to do this partnership for me was a great opportunity to involve my team, to meet all of you, which she speaks so highly about. I just feel like it's a really good partnership. I have to remember some of the words and use them correctly. But so with that being said, I think it's an amazing opportunity to hear Jacqueline speak. And want to thank you again for being here. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jacqueline. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good
morning. Good to see you all. I'm not going to meet everyone or know you for forever. I just want you to know that this morning was definitely designed with you in mind. We have been conjuring up, thinking who gets to come play. We only put out a very small amount of invitations because we wanted it very exclusive and intimate, to just share some sacred space with you this morning. And really my intent is just to remind you of who you are. I know you were already playing at such fabulous levels, but if you can walk away this morning just with a reminder about who am I, and really allowing yourself to give that the attention, then I promise great things can happen. I want to definitely, from the bottom of my heart, priceless is the partnership I have with Gucci and Miss Brenda. She is a goddess. If you've not known her, you will get to know her and love and adore her like I do. But I really wanted to just pose some questions. I wanted to keep it sacred this morning and to have this space that says, what have you been thinking? What have you been thinking lately about your life? About if you have your own business or if you're looking for a career? What have you been thinking lately, and does it serve you? Because I know that we are the fortune teller of our life with our thoughts. And most of us think that we're not. We want to blame the outside world, or we want to say, as soon as I get there, then I can feel good. And I'd like to share with you something that, just play with me for a moment this morning. Everything you want in your life comes with the thought that you will feel better in having it. Think about what you want, right? Once you get it or get there, then you can feel good. Why not take the shortcut to your desires and feel better now? By choice, without contingencies, permission granted, get to good. Now, most people say, oh, I love that, Jacqueline. I'd love to do that just as soon as I do this. Let me just go ahead, if only he would, right? Well, one day, let me just wrap this up. And most of us put our life on hold or postponement for the very desires we want because we think that they're over there and we've got to do this thing called life and then we'll get there. But what I'm offering up this morning is the whole idea behind Get to Good is that you get off anything that gets in your way. You remind yourself of who you are and you get to your potential. Because the sooner you do that, the sooner those desires start to come to you. It's a different way. It's paradoxical to most people. They think once I get it, once I have it, then I start to feel good. And my offering today is, no, go ahead and start to give yourself permission to feel really good today. You don't need many reasons to do that. And then start to let in those desires. Does that make sense to you? Yes, just a little bit. So you'd say, well, it does make sense, Jacqueline. I mean, I get it. Intellectually, that makes sense. But why don't most people do it? Right? Why don't I do it at times? I'll tell you why. We're justified. We have these things, and I call them sophisticated excuses, right? We can no longer get away with just regular excuses that says, well, you know what, I couldn't get here because it was raining. Right? We don't talk about that. It's, well, as soon as that I get funding, if only my husband would, right? As soon as my body gets that way, one day when the government, let's see how the election goes, right? We place all of our power where? Outside of ourselves. And today is just a reminder of your power, that you say, I am powerful. Most people, though, stop what it is that they want because of what I call sophisticated excuses. Let me offer this to you. Here's a glimpse into what sophisticated excuses look like. Maybe one might sound familiar. You're too busy right now to think. You do not have the bandwidth, not enough money, time, or energy. As soon as, until he, then I, if only, one day, so long as. Sophisticated excuses all originate from lack mentality, combined with internal and external influences. My spouse, my children, my childhood, the government, my boss, my career, the economy, my body, my schedule, my bank account, my education, all limiting beliefs that keep you telling the same story over and over again. Do you know that all limiting beliefs are self-imposed? And if we were just to give ourselves permission to say, what if I were to think a little bit bigger today? Like my greatest intent for everybody this morning is if you can walk out of here asking 2 questions, and you may not know the answer to them yet, but you're willing to ask them, and it's, who am I, and what do I want? Who am I, and what do I want? Because I promise when you get to know that answer, it will serve you all the days of your life. If you will start to just give that your attention. Again, you don't have to know the exact answer today, but if you'll start to direct. I ask people, what do you want in life? And do you know what I get the reply more often than not? Is everything they don't want. Right? Well, I don't want this. I ask someone what they want in their marriage or what they want in a relationship, and they tell me everything they don't want. It's based on their last heartache or everything. Well, I don't want to do this. I said, well, that wasn't the question. The question is, what do you want, right? Most of us are fixated upon the unwanted, and we wonder why we keep perpetuating. Now, hear me today. I don't think anyone in this room is broken. I don't think anyone's off. You were invited for a very particular reason because you're already playing at beautiful levels. This is just some fine-tuning. I do it every day for myself, so I'm just inviting you in. No one's messed up here. We're clear about that. But we're always expanding or we're shrinking. So I just think if we can expand this morning, let's do that. You cannot look at that which you are wanting and be feeling the absence of it. Sit with that for a moment. You cannot look and talk about that which you've been wanting and feel the absence of it. Most people say, well, I want more money, or I want this kind of man, or I want this kind of woman, right? Or whatever it is. But then we feel the absence of it. They don't match up. You can't get there from here. That's what Get to Good's about, is to say, you know what, how would I feel if I did have that? Well, then go ahead and start to begin to get to know that right here where you are Sunday morning. I want you to, if you can offer up, I call it Get to Good conditioning, and it's where you can just do it. I don't care if you're in carpool, if you're on the tollway, if you're at home, it doesn't matter. That you ask yourself some powerful questions. That's right, because questions shift our focus. You have already asked a million questions this morning. Some have served you, some are mediocre, some have been disempowering, like, oh, who will I even know anyone? What am I going to do there, right? And I want you to get really good at asking powerful questions. It says, who am I and what do I want? Here's another question, if I may. Do I feel good? Do I feel good? Now, you might say, oh, that's such an interesting question. These are just profound questions. They're easy access that immediately you can shift your focus. Here is the trick behind that one. It's a yes or no answer only. Okay? If you say, well, I do feel good if only, blah, 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 blah. That would be a sophisticated excuse in disguise, right? So I want you to say, do I feel good? Yes, get to know it. If you say no, how could I? What is good in my life? Start to shift your focus. Because here's what I know. Some people will say, but Jacqueline, that sounds so good, but you don't know what's going on in my home. You don't know my reality. And here's my definition for reality. It's that which you give your attention to or that which occupies your mind. Now think about that. That's our current reality. We are all already living in our story. You go, what's the story of her life? What's the story of her life? And all of us live within the parameter of our story. Would today be okay to just expand it just a bit by starting to think a little bit about more that you want and say, what could be the story of my life? I've been telling a story about what I don't want. I've been having chats with my girlfriends about what I don't want. Why don't we start to have better chats about what we do want, about who we are, about what we're moving toward? Because I promise you, whatever you focus on, you move toward. I get whatever I think about, whether I want it or not. What do I want? I get whatever I think about, whether I want it or not. What do I want? So if all you did throughout the day is start to just say, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? And you shift it. What I'd like you to do is, when we leave here today, you're going to notice all day long when you notice that you've been thinking what you don't want. You're going to go, wow, I was completely thinking about what I didn't want there. I want you to celebrate. Because before this morning, maybe you just took it as that status quo. That's my life. Instead, go, wow, I'm so glad I noticed. Now I can shift. When we get conscious, when we're mindful, we can do it. The word ignorance is not a lack of intellect. It's to ignore your potential. Today is about being intelligent about who you are and reminding you that you have the power. It's not outside of you, and that you are the creator of your world. And if you'll just start to play with this, you don't have to believe everything I'm saying. I wouldn't want you to. I want you to go practice it and play with it. But I promise success leaves clues. And there's a few of my close girlfriends and clients in the room. You can get with them. I'm sure they'll share that, not because of anything I've done, but because a shift in thinking. And all of a sudden, there's no coincidence out there, no mysteries. Your world starts to shift according to you. How powerful is that, right? So I know we're in a sacred space, and I know a lot of times people have something on your heart and mind, and I will make myself available. But are there any thoughts out there, questions? I'm happy to. I see some eyes sparkling. Anybody want to ask a question, or what about this, Jacqueline, or any thoughts? Happy to answer.
Jacqueline, can I ask you to elaborate on manifestation? I've had the privilege in speaking with you quite frequently lately, and I enjoy that word so much. And even Zara has brought it up, just some amazing stories I'd love you just to share.
You know, manifestation is nothing woo-woo, right? We're always creating what we're thinking about. Most people, though, look at and they say, well, this is the creation, and they think that's the reality. But what actually happened was the thoughts and the feelings that you had been thinking about consistently again and again that created what it is you want. I was with a very reputable PR firm, and we were having lunch, and I said, oh, and by the way, I'm partnering with Gucci. I'm just so excited. Love them, you know, my favorite picture line. And they looked at me and they said, how do you make that happen? And my brain, and those of you who know me well, I couldn't connect. And I go, no, I just wanted it, right? I was just giving attention to it. I was giving my thoughts and my feelings. Nothing was, how am I going to make that happen? It was, I felt so good thinking about it. I call this place Whoville for me. I just feel like I'm in Whoville in a sense, and I like those places. If you know me well, it's cotton candy and sugar plums, but it's that place where you make the visible, you turn your invisible into visible. And you're doing it all the time, whether you think you're doing it or not. It's just like the law of gravity. We're all at the effect of it, right? It's the same thing. I know everyone in this room has heard about law of attraction, but let me keep it real clean. Like does attract like. So whatever you're thinking and whatever you're feeling will start to manifest. Use the word realize, actualize, whatever serves you, whatever works for you, will start to become your reality. For the people who are churchgoers, that prayer is intentional, right? That you're placing prayer as being intentional. My question to you is, you're always planning for something with your thinking and your feeling. Is it something you want to plan for? Are you hoping that will come true? Are you being intentional about that? Because you will move in the direction of that plan. So that's why I want you to get really clear. If you want to make something manifest, that you give it your heart and soul and you feel so good about it right now before it shows up. That's the difference. Most people are going to wait until the evidence of it shows up, and then they go, okay, then I can feel better. But you'll never line up. Your work, and this is that edge that you have, that secret that says, I want that. What would that feel like to have that? Let me go ahead and access that feeling right now. Everything that you want in your life right now is all attached to a better feeling. I just spoke to you about that, but here's what I want you to do. It's all circulating in your life right now. All you have to do is allow yourself to feel those feelings and get to know those. That's just by you asking better questions, doing conditioning, allowing that to come into play. Does that make sense? Good question. Let me offer one other thought. Let's say everything you want is on the perimeter of your life, and it's out there. And you go, oh, I really want that. But as soon as, let me just get to this. And so it's like, hold up, right, and then you're going to let that in. You're like, just a second, let me just, I don't think I'm quite ready yet. Or I don't know if I have everything in order. And so guess what? It stays on the perimeter. Your work to let it in is to feel really good. Now, I know this is going to be interesting, but I'd like you to walk away with this mantra. And a mantra is simply a belief. It's nothing more than a thought that you've conditioned again and again and again. And this is the mantra. My greatest work is to feel good. My greatest work is to feel good. Because I know if you're accessing feeling good, I know if you're really in tune with who you are, you will create everything that you've ever wanted. Think about anything when the day goes, when it rains it pours. You hear that saying? Well, because you focused on what didn't go well, and then you talked about it, and then you expected more of it, and then it kept happening. Change your reality. The better it gets, the better it gets. Oh, my life just gets better and better, and I like that, and I'll take that, and oh, no, thank you, and yes, and yes, and yes, right? Your job is to, what if all we did today, and forever, if all of you walked out of here and you started to look for everything that you wanted, you looked for good in your life, do you know what would happen? You would find it. Would that be okay? It's a powerful place. Maybe time for one more thought. Thank you, Miss Brenda. If you have one. Yes, Miss Linda.
Well, you make it sound so easy, and I know a lot of us in our head are going, but it's kind of hard. So how do you get it feel easy?
It's a great question. I am all about, Zara's favorite word is easy, isn't it? Easy, she says. I'll go, oh, we have this to do. She goes, easy. I'm like, I love that, right? And it's about effortless prosperity. If you believe it's hard, guess what? It's hard, right? It's all about your belief system. Now, I'm not asking you to say, well, okay, I believe everything right now, and I just twinkle my nose and I'm on. What I absolutely believe in is that you have conditioned thoughts where you are consistent in your thinking. A belief is nothing more than a conditioned thought. All of us have beliefs in this room. Some of them serve you. And I wouldn't mind all of us expanding a little bit of our beliefs today, where we start to tell a bigger story. And how do you do that? You start to give it attention. I will write down a belief in the morning or that week, and I'll just start to say it to myself again and again and again, wherever I am. And that all of a sudden, that belief that at first I thought was bigger than life is now a part of me. I had a belief I wrote down not too long ago that said, everything works out for me favorably. Everything always works out favorably for me. That's really the belief. Would that be an okay belief for everyone in the room, right? Now, when I wrote it down, I was like, well, I would love that. Yes. So I just wrote that down. But guess what? I actually own that now. I believe that. That's what I'd like you to do. Borrow one of my beliefs. There's plenty in the book, right? That says all is well. All is well says, you know what? I don't have to worry, because worry is the misuse of my mind. I don't have to stress, because stress is a buzzword for fear. I get to just start giving attention more to me. And sometimes that means going internal. It doesn't mean always looking on the outside and letting them define who we are. We have to define who we are. So for you, it's called chronic thinking, where you get really aware, and yes, in the beginning, it is going to take determined thoughts. You all are already light years ahead, though. You have this thing. But if in the beginning, you're going to need to be intentional about it, where you say, am I thinking wanted? Am I focused on abundance? Am I focused on absence? And here's how you know. If you're like, I don't know what I just said to myself, right? Do I feel good? And if you don't, then you go, well, I must be off. Let me get back to feeling good. I would love for each of you, like the next time I got to see you, you would tell me ways that you could feel good. Oh, I just do this, or I just do that. And I'll give you some quick, easy ways. I drink water all the time, taking a breath, standing up tall, and saying a mantra, saying a belief in my head. That sounds too simple, Jack. Well, do you want me to have you stand on your head? Right? I mean, what do you want me to do, right? It's that easy. It's called conditioning. I want you to condition in a muscle that has you in alignment with the best of self. And the best of self shows up if you give it your attention, right? That which we give attention to grows. Again, today we are looking for only that which you're wanting to find, and you'll find it. You'll expect it. Yes? So I'm going to make myself available. I want to offer up that, first of all, a huge thank you to Gucci and to Brenda for allowing me to come play with you, and there's lots more to come with that. To our Piazza, right? The Piazza at the Village, and this is, they have donated all. She does full party rentals, high-end party rentals over there in Colleyville. They've offered up all of this. Our catering, Couture Cuisine, is here, so please eat up. You've got to take one of these cake pops to feel good. I have a belief system that says if it feels good going down, it assimilates well in the body, so I'm happy, right? We have Pam Denisek here. She, in your goodie bags, everyone must get their Gucci Get to Good and Get to Gucci goodie bags. And she has these amazing, all the freshest ingredients, sweet cookies and coupons in there. And she's in the Knox Henderson area as well. And everyone definitely get yourself a Get to Gucci goodie bag, because there's a few cards in there. If you see my writing, I know it's hard to read, but it'll say Get to Gucci, and you have won for the day. You're all winners, but you have won. So I'd like to share with you one thing before we go sip and shop. Your life is right now. It is not someday when you get that promotion, new car, married, or lose 10 pounds. Many of you are looking for yourself in the good life in all the wrong places. You are one more shopping spree, antidepressant, big money deal, elective surgery, and love affair away from truly finding yourself and enjoying the good life. Where is the joie de vivre? You think it's over there. They have it over the next horizon. Like chasing a shadow, and you convince yourself why today is not the day to feel good. But soon, after I make it happen, one day, perhaps. Pushing the pause button on life with the elusive dream, regret the past, worry about the future, and distracted with the now. Oh my stars, one could see how this would leave you frustrated, powerless, and disillusioned. Please allow me the privilege, to sign your book, connect with you, remind you of all that you are. Please stay and sip and shop and just feel good. Get to Gucci. Permission granted, right? Enjoy your day. Thank you. I honor you.
Thank you. And this is how I study a little bit.
And one last thing, thank you to our beautiful Gucci mom.
Oh, yes, I